So here's part 2 of my video series. I'm going to be talking about the idea of organisation and what actually is important in a job. So my area of expertise is business. You do all these like career forms and these career quizzes, and you're asked always to fill in like what's the most likely outcome in a certain situation, and that's meant to determine what your working style would be or your personality type. And I'm naturally not the kind of person who likes to get things done. I mean, I do get things done and I can do things well, but I would much rather have a good time, or I would much rather think about things, or I would much rather talk about things. I'd much rather people feel at ease. I'd much rather a lot of other things except just getting something done. And it leads me to the question of, if you're trying to become something different, if you're trying to develop, what is the thing that people want you to be? What is the thing that people want you to do? Because there is going to be almost like a cookie cutter response. It's nice to be individual, and I want to be individual. We all want to be, but really, there is something specifically that companies generally want to look for in a worker. So I guess the most important thing is that you work hard, that you come in every day, you do your job well, you're a hard worker. And then second of all, I guess, you want to be able to get on with your colleagues. You don't want to be someone who is difficult to work with, particularly if you haven't got any other things to really bring to the table. And I suppose this is where the trade-off comes in, when you are, it's like the trade-off between being charismatic and bringing crazy ideas, almost like genius touch, versus being amicable, easygoing, agreeable, all of these things. So it's almost like there's a scale, isn't there? Like there's a tipping point between when genius and craziness and kind of demandingness sort of outweighs the agreeableness that you're required for people not to fire you. So yeah, that's another thing I was thinking about. I think that's secondary, because I think fundamentally people want to see that you get results and that you get things done and that you come in and you can pretty much start making progress in things. So I think ultimately it is about being an operator. So this brings me back to my original point, like if me as an ENFP, for example, is, I guess, mainly driven by ideas and driven by what could be and possibilities and ideals and stuff, how does that mean that I can actually drill down and stop daydreaming and stop thinking and actually do something? How can I discipline my mind to rein it in? And particularly if you've got the perceiving quality of an ENFP, then it's almost like you still want to be taking in information. You're never satisfied until you have a result. You're never really satisfied with information, because you always want to know more. So you are always open to change your mind, and that spontaneity and that flexibility is obviously good. But when it comes to getting things done, at what point do you say, right, I've got enough information and now I'm just going to do it? So yeah, this is the kind of questions I'm asking myself. But I think ultimately, in having done a personality test just now for a prospective new job, I realised that the kind of person that I think I should be in a business is someone who gets stuff done first and foremost, and then after that, I have great ideas, and then after that, I get on with people. But fundamentally, I'm there in a position to get stuff done, and to make progress, and just literally to almost be a robot in that sense. Like, people want results, people don't want to have a difficult time, and people do want your great ideas, but most of the time in big businesses, great ideas, unfortunately, you have to earn your stripes first of all before you can have a big idea, unless you're lucky. So, a note to all those ENFPs out there, keep dreaming, but learn in the meantime to get yourself focused and to get the job done, because that's what's going to be the keys to success, even though it's boring. So I think I'm going to look next time at how to make it less boring, how to make things happen, but not actually kind of take away from who it is that you are, so you don't go crazy and then freak out, because that's the problem, isn't it, as well, being an ENFP. Like, if you do what you're meant to do, it's like a cycle. You do it for a bit, and 2 weeks later you're like, oh man, I can't be bothered with this anymore. So it's how do you break out that cycle? How do you predict that and be successful?